for about 20 seconds or so.
$2,600 one's still available.
Right.
Do we have the camera in the right position?
I think so. Does it need to be more this way?
I put a land all up on the board.
Looks pretty good, huh?
We have the camera.
Okay, so we see all the people that have joined so far.
And then it says up here who's watching. Or I mean like the
wow.
count.
Yep, that's awesome. Okay.
Hi, Bill. He said hello. Hi, Bill.
Okay, so we're live now, just FYI, but we'll wait to officially start for 5 minutes. But now anybody who's coming in knows that.
Cool. Hello, everybody.
So we're live now, just FYI, but we'll wait to officially start for 5 minutes.
So on here, you might turn off your sound so that they're not hearing it.
Yep, good point.
Hi, Sharon.
Hey, I'm not sure how your message is going off up to your text or voicemail or from Rob. Okay, Rob did, okay. That was the first thing I tried with Rob, so I heard you might be with. Okay. Okay. You heard the stuff on Mitch, on his tires on the trailer? Okay, he should be getting in to deliver a little later this afternoon. And then, was thinking about bringing them over and like get all, the whole set of tires, the wheels replaced, matched up, all that kind of good stuff, good stuff.
You have to get a Facebook person to do it.
Okay, so
It's delayed, isn't it?
Yeah, about 30 seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds.
those would be the better tires, you know, or bigger, okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's probably what's going on with, Mitch too, got those, and apparently got mismatched, wheels and all that stuff too, so. He's under load right now, he's down here. He's over at Wilcox, a couple of minutes ago, so he should be unloading an Eagle probably.
Brian said that he's hearing some feedback or something like that.
Here, what, by noonish, noonish, 1 o'clock.
And that feedback maybe was mine. So.
And then, you think they'd be able to get them mounted on the wheels and stuff, kind of get them to you? Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, then now we can go again. Okay, cool, Daniel. I appreciate it.
Hey, Jennifer, it's
All right, buddy,
Nancy,
thanks.
Roadmaster. Hey, I just wanted to let you know, if your dad gets up to Pittsburgh, let us know.
Let's just, show you guys whose book was, notes to get an idea. The whole crew only got 68,000.
Good morning, Tammy. This is Yolanda with Roadmaster Special
Okay,
boys. How are
just
you?
as soon as you get in there, get delivered.
Doing good. I was calling to see,
He's gonna, get a bunch of tires
basically, if
and send
you
over here
have
and then
any trucks in.
We're at 28 so far. 1 minute to go. We're at 28.
time to get over there, what they're, what we have ready for you, man.
Flat step there.
All right, big boy.
Phoenix.
Thanks, sir.
Show you what's in the box. Summary, it's detailed, so it's just a little dispatch. We got it. Gives you an idea.
Mike, how we doing?
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
minute.
thank you for your time.
1 minute.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
So this is total of numbers.
Right. Some people are 1 page, some 2 pages. That's the color code.
Hi everyone, my name is Riley Porter. I'm the social media coordinator here at Tri-State. Today is our first Facebook Live broadcast. And we have a really awesome guest with us today. We have our CEO, John Wilbur. As he's talking, if you have any questions that you'd like him to answer or address, just start commenting them, and we will get to as many as we can. So, John, take it away.
Thank you, Riley, and welcome. Riley's been with us only a couple weeks, and she's already running the show, which is pretty cool. And you know, we're here in our Glendale office. This isn't a recording studio or anything. This is just our office here in Glendale. We've got support staff all over the country here, and in Joplin, and New York, and Tennessee, and Kentucky,
Hello, it's
supporting
Fiona
all
with
of our
Wilbur.
drivers out in the field.
Calling to see
And
if you guys had any
this
trucks
is, as
in
Riley said, this is our inaugural Facebook Live event. And so, you know, a little bit of it's an experiment, and so bear with us. But the real purpose of this today is to increase and improve our communication with our drivers out in the field. And when you talk about our drivers and you stop and think for a minute, what's really cool is we have drivers in probably all 48 continental states today. We've got them in most Canadian provinces, maybe even Alaska. So the spread of our company via our drivers is pretty cool. And I really was going to, well, bottom line is that, as I said, we really want to improve our communications with our drivers throughout North America. And when I say communication, what I really mean is we want to listen. We've always prided ourselves on our ability to listen to our drivers. So even though I will be doing most of the talking today, the real objective is to hear from you. And that's through the communication that Riley will pass on to me, or even after the event, you can email us, call us, or anything. We really want to hear from our drivers, the things that are going well, the challenges out there. And you guys are all over the country. We rarely see you, so this is a great way for us to, you know, like I say, improve our communications. I really want to, well, the other thing too, besides our first event, this is going to be weekly. So I think every Friday, starting not this week, but next week at 12:30 Central, Riley will be hosting, and another one of our team members will be hosting, and we'll have a different representative of the company speaking almost every week. I'll certainly be trying to get on as much as possible, but we'll be having a different guest every week for you guys to hear from in different functional areas of our company. So really, to get started, what I want to do is give everybody a kind of a state of the union, where we are, where our company is today, what we have going on, what we have going on in the future. And as we said, you want to make any comments, any questions, anything during the time, get them, send them in. Riley will get them to me, and we'll address them during the event as much as we can. So bottom line, the number one thing I want to say is that we are number one. We are the number one high security transporter in North America, and that's pretty cool. And that's by any measure. That's by load count, that's by government sector, that's by commercial sector, that's by the total of government and commercial. We are the number one high security transporter in North America. There's really not a close number two, and we intend to widen that gap. And we're going to do that every single day. As I've told a lot of our group here, you know, we're not at war with our competition, but we are in competition with our competition. And we set out to win that game every single day. And the way we do that is the old-fashioned way. We outwork them, we outsmart them, we out-hustle them. We don't cut corners, we don't lie, we don't cheat. We just do it the old-fashioned way. We've been doing it for years, it's paying off, and we're going to continue to do that. So that's the first thing that I'd want to say is that, you know, we are the #1 high-security transporter in North America, and that's thanks to all of you out there that are doing the heavy lifting every single day. You know, we were able to accomplish that a couple of reasons. One, we have the best company fleet of drivers in America. That's our team drivers and our solo drivers and our local drivers. We have the highest performing owner-operator fleet in America. We also have the highest credentialed owner-operator fleet in America. So that combination of our company drivers, our owner-operators, serving our government and commercial customers, that's what's put us in number one. That's what's going to keep us #1. But behind all that, and I don't want to forget, and I already mentioned, we have an incredible staff. We're here at our corporate headquarters in Arizona. We've got more people in Joplin, and I said we've got them all around the country supporting our staff. And I think we've got the best staff in this industry. The other couple things I wanted to mention real quick, particularly for those of you who've been asking us questions on our equipment, we've always driven a very new truck fleet and a very new trailer fleet, but we have some updates on that. In 2018, this year, we're taking in at least 70 new trucks. They've already started rolling in, but by the next few months, we'll have all 70 of those in place. Next year, we've just placed our initial order for next year. We have 150 brand new trucks coming in next year. So 70 this year, 150 next year, maintaining a very young age truck fleet out there. Trailers, it's even more amazing. We are in the process of bringing in 350 new dry vans this year. 350. We've already taken in more than half. We're over 200 of those are already in place. And where that brings us to is since 2015, just 3 years, we've brought in, including these 350, we brought in 750 brand new dry vans. That's over 70% of our dry van fleet has been purchased in the last 3.5 years. That is, I know it's the newest fleet in the high security industry. It may be the newest fleet in the transportation industry nationwide. So that's pretty cool. The other thing that we have going on right now is we have a multi-year facility upgrade project going on. Some of you have been to our new facility in Loudon, Tennessee that's serving our radioactive sector. Very, very sharp facility there. The crown jewel of this multi-year project in Joplin, Missouri, the Legacy Lodge, is going to be open in a couple of weeks. That includes about a 5,000 square foot new state-of-the-art driver training center, and then about a 5,000 square foot Legacy Lodge, which includes country club style locker rooms, institutional quality kitchen, granite countertops, awesome laundry facilities, a media room, a fitness center that both our drivers and our office staff can use in Joplin. And again, hopefully most of you will get to see that over the next few months. It's going to be literally state-of-the-art and set a new standard across the industry. We're then going to be moving on to other facilities around the country. I think we're building a new facility in Crane next year, and we're going to be doing improvements at several other facilities. So it started late last year. It's going to take us a couple of years to get all the way through that, but we're really going to bring up the standard of what our facilities and what you're able to use at our facilities. Just want to check in with Riley. Are we doing okay?
Yeah,
okay.
We actually have a couple questions already.
Okay, great.
So Frederick Hinahos wants to know when we will see fuel prices break or any update on fuel prices.
Great. I thought the first question would be about freight, but fuel prices is great. You know, obviously we've seen quite an uptick on fuel prices over the last 6 months. I try to stay on top of the international and North American markets for fuel. I mean, our forecast right now is that fuel, at least oil, is going to stay in the $60 to $80 a barrel range. Not a lot of movement outside of that range. So I think we've gotten near, I think it's around $67 a barrel right now. I would say for the rest of this year, I wouldn't expect too much volatility in that. It'll go up, it'll go down, but I think it's going to stay within a range. I don't think we're going to see it back in the 40s as it has been for a couple of years, and I don't think we're going to see it over $100, at least in the next 12 months. But that's my best estimate now based on what I'm looking at, reading every day.
Okay, the next question you can probably tie into freight. Jacqueline and Chuck Hinsel wants to know how many new customers will we be acquiring?
That's great. That's a great question. Hello, Jackie and Chuck. How you guys doing? It's great to recognize so many of the names. And on that point, 5-6 years ago, we had less than 100 trucks. And I knew most of the names of many of our drivers. Today we're over 500 trucks, about 400 teams. So this is why we're trying to do something like this, because it's just not as easy to communicate with everybody one-on-one like it used to be. But anyway, I appreciate the question. We've added actually our EVP of Sales, Don Welchoff, just walked through our area here. I could ask him, but we've probably added we've added several new Has Waste customers just in the last 2 months. I don't want to name them on camera here, but we've added a few more of those. We've added some freight forwarders. So I'm going to say in the last 12 months, we've probably added at least 10 high-value customers. I would expect us to do about the same thing over the next 12 months. But what we've always done well, besides adding new customers every year, is we have grown our business with our existing customers. Once we get a foothold with a customer, we really work on serving them well, providing safety, security, capacity, and reliability. Once we do that, we expand our footprint within that customer. So that's where our organic growth comes from, both new customers and growth within our existing customers, both government and commercial. I'm going to move on to a couple things, if that's all right. I always want to talk about our what we do for our drivers. I've mentioned a couple of things already, our equipment and our facilities, but we've always been ahead of the curve in terms of compensation and benefits. And so I want to speak to a couple of those points right now. First of all, as far as our benefits are concerned, we have a fabulous 401k plan for our company drivers. Highly encourage anyone who's not into it to look into it and hopefully participate. We have a weekly match thanks to the Dasky organization, which we joined in December. The company matches your contributions, a percentage of your contributions every single week. Most 401k programs match quarterly or semi-annually or annually. We're matching every single week thanks to the benefits brought to us by the Dasky organization. We also have a new health insurance platform for our company drivers, again brought to us from the Dasky organization. Starting in May, we brought in a new health insurance platform, and one of those plans provides health insurance for our employees at no cost to the employee. Our bronze plan, employee-only category, if you choose that plan, the company pays 100% of the premiums. It's something we've been striving for years here to try to pay for as much or all of our healthcare premiums. And so we finally achieved that in May, and we have a lot of participants on that plan. So our 401k, our health insurance, great benefits. The other thing is, then obviously what most people always want to talk about is our pay. And we set the standard for pay back in 2012 when we introduced our daily base rate. It's kind of a salary-like guaranteed pay level for our over-the-road team drivers. It's been dramatically successful, and we built in, even way back then, a graduated scale so that the longer you're with us, the more money you earn. So we're not chasing our tail like so many companies out there, raising pay by 2 pennies or a penny or 3 pennies every 6 months. We've already built a lot of that into our plan. However, with that being said, we are going to try to get out ahead of the curve again here. We will be announcing a change and increase to our compensation for both our over-the-road team and over-the-road solo drivers. We're going to should have the details worked out by next week so that we can announce it to you by the end of next week. So stay tuned for that for our company drivers, both team and solo. I think it's going to be fairly significant, and maybe the most significant thing that we've ever done, at least since 2012. Riley, are we doing good?
Yeah, you actually just answered several of the drivers' questions. William Bell is asking, is there any way to cut down the deadhead miles for owner-operators?
That's a great question. Hello, William, and thank you. You know, obviously our deadhead, I'll be very frank about how we're handling that, both for our owner-operators and our company drivers. We really don't distinguish. We want to reduce the deadhead for all of our trucks out there. And so I'll speak to what we're doing about it, but I'm going to back up for just a second. And this may answer some questions we have with freight out there. But right now, we are in one of the most, if not the most, robust freight environment that we've been in for decades. Maybe since the early 90s, maybe since deregulation back in the early 80s. So the freight is robust, it's well priced, there's a lot of it, and our customers continue to want us to haul even more. And so, admittedly, we've been overbooked, fully booked, and the goal has been to go get and haul all that freight that we possibly can, particularly over the last 6 to 12 months. So at times we've been, you know, increasing our deadhead to go get a very high value load. Now we'd like to grab that load with less deadhead. So on that we have, now to get to really your question, look, we're trying to reduce deadhead for everybody. We don't distinguish between owner-operating company as far as reducing deadhead. Last year we brought in a planning optimizer that we're still really getting up to speed on, but that's it is helping us reduce deadhead. Number one, we've reorganized our planning structure. We now have geographic planning infrastructure, which is helping us get tighter. The bigger we get, the more lane density we get, which reduces deadhead also. So I don't have a specific answer, William, for you in terms of where I think we will be on deadhead. I will say that our primary focus is maximizing revenue per truck per week. Now, if we can do that and reduce deadhead by 3 or 4%, that's a huge win for all of us. So it's not, we're working on it. It's just been a little bit tough over the last 6 to 12 months because we've been inundated with freight, and we're really just getting after covering that freight. But thank you for the question. Appreciate it. Riley, anything else?
Yes, Donna Jansen is asking if we can look into making the phone system voice activated when they call in. Great question.
Actually, I'm going to address our driver council here in a minute, but that's the kind of feedback that we need. I know we've gotten a lot of feedback lately on emails, on redundant and voluminous Omnitrax Qualcomm messaging, which we're trying to reduce, and an improved and more efficient phone system. Those are all kind of up on the top of our list of what we're starting to work on now. We want to make our communications with our drivers as efficient as possible, but we also don't want to overburden you with redundant or unnecessary messages, and we certainly want to make sure that you get who you're trying to get to when you call in. So yes, we are actually working on that. I think you're going to be hearing some things about emails, messaging, and phone system here really, really quickly. So appreciate that question very much. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the freight outlook, if you don't mind, after I drink of water. I get questions all the time, particularly from our business partner owner-operators out there. You know, we're enjoying a great freight environment right now, but what is our outlook? Well, let's step back and realize why are we in the environment we're in right now. We have tremendous economic activity, the best we've seen in if not years, decades. We just had a second quarter where we had GDP of 4.1%. We haven't seen that number in a long, long time, and it does look sustainable. So we've got economic activity rising, which translates to shipments for us, particularly high value, sensitive commodity shipments. At the same time, you have to look at what's happening in the trucking industry. You can't go a day without hearing about the trucking shortage, 50,000 drivers short. Every week we still hear about the ELD mandate. So capacity is tight. The industry is short of drivers, short of seated credentialed trucks, and the shipments are going up. So we have demand going up, capacity flat to down. That's made a very robust freight environment it's a good time to be a trucking company. I don't see any change in that for the foreseeable future. What is the foreseeable future? It's at least 6 months, but probably 12 to 18. Right now, we're already starting our 2019 plan, and our economic backdrop assumptions really are no different than they are right now. We think that economic activity, particularly the sectors we serve, government, manufacturing, industrial, will continue to grow, and we don't see, historically when you've been in tight markets, trucking companies bought all these trucks and brought capacity in the market, and things softened up. The difference today is they can buy trucks, they can't necessarily seat them. And so, if you can seat them like we can, that's a good thing for us. So what I see is, at least through 2019, I don't think it's going to look much different than it looks today, which I know is good news. Probably is reflected in not only higher volumes for us, but higher prices. But in terms of the customer, here's what they want today. They want capacity and they want reliability. And that's what we're able to bring. We're one of the few companies in the high security industry that can get a call from a customer and ask us for 10 more trucks next week, and we can do it in most cases, particularly if we have lead time. They always have wanted safety and security, but today capacity and reliability is really what they're looking for, and that's what differentiates us. We're able to provide it thanks to all of you out there. The other question that I get all the time, and Riley may have it on her pad right now, is are we going to continue to grow? Well, let's look at how we have grown. I took the company over in 2011. We had under 100 trucks. We had under $30 million in revenue. Today, we joined the Dasky organization on December 1st of 2017, so that's public knowledge. And we were at about over $100 million in revenue at that time. And most of that growth from under 30 to 100 over that time period was organic. We only did one acquisition. And then just in the last few months, we combined with our sister company, R&R Trucking, who joined the Dasky company in the fall of 17 when they were doing about $50 million in revenue. So today we're sitting, with that combination and over 500 trucks, about 400 of which are seated with teams. So that's significant growth over the last 6 to 7 years. And the answer is yes, we will continue to grow, both organically That means more trucks and more business with our customers and new customers. And and particularly myself, we're always looking for strategic acquisitions that make sense to fit into our organization. So we are not stopping here at 500 trucks. I hope to be at 1,000 and 2,000 in the next few years, but not getting out of what we do. High security, high value, expedited. Not gonna be a FAK carrier or anything like that. We're gonna stay in our niche, but I think there's plenty of that business out there for us to grow and to continue to dominate the sectors that we do. So, Riley, how are we doing?
We're doing good. Michelle Grooms wants to know, are there any plans to add staff and capabilities to after-hours staff?
Another great question that we usually do get, and yes. I think that, extended hours, after hours, weekends, it tends to be one of the weak spots of any trucking company. The drivers, you guys are out there running 24/7. Office staff is used to 9 to 5, 8 to 5, 6 to 3, that kind of a shift. So it's always been difficult for the companies to provide that support. We have been adding to our extended hours staff. We're also reorganizing it, just trying to get more efficient. And that brings up a couple of things I want to address. But so to answer your question bluntly, yes, we are adding staff, adding resources, and just trying to get better at supporting you with our extended hours service. But along those lines, a couple of things that I was going to hit on. Recently, we formed a drivers' council where we asked, I think it was 5 or 6 teams selected from owner-operators, company teams, company solos. We brought them in and we just asked them questions about every functional area in our business and what was causing them problems and where could we focus on improving that would help you guys. And certainly messaging was one of those, deadhead was one, and this was an issue, the extended hours support. So another thing that came out of that initiative was we are creating a new position, not necessarily an extended hours position, but a driver's advocate position. This is at least one person, maybe it'll blossom into a department that is there to support you guys with whatever you need, whether it's an operational requirement, an HR requirement, a payroll department. You have somebody to go to, particularly if you don't know where to go in the organization to get an answer. We'll have, I think, a formal announcement of that position out here pretty quickly. It came from listening to you guys, just making sure you had somebody to talk to find out where to go in the organization or to get an answer to something that you didn't have an answer to. But anyway, that's those two things I did want to mention. And that driver council is going to spread. We're going to kind of involve other teams. So if you're not involved yet, don't worry. You probably will be. And you'll hear more about this driver's advocate position. And we do also want to hear about the extended hours coverage. And if you see improvements over the next few weeks and months, we'd like to hear, because if we're not getting it done, we definitely want to hear about it. If we are getting the job done, we want to hear about that too. So anyway.
Dolores Benson wants to know, when will we see the deduction on service and parts now that we are under DASKY?
That is another great question. Hello, Doris. How you doing? As you know, or you may know, DASKY, with our assistance, it recently formed DASKY Fleet Services. That is a group of DASKY employees, some of which are located here in our business park, and some are located in Memphis, Tennessee. And the purpose of that is DASKY has 15 or 16 operating companies. We're about 5,000 trucks, but historically, we've bought a lot of equipment, parts, services, fuel, and everything as 16 separate companies. And now the DASKY Fleet Services, the objective is to pool the buying power of a 5,000 truck fleet still maintaining the autonomy of our operating divisions, but getting that buying power on trucks, on trailers, on fuel, on parts, all the things that she just asked about. So I think that you will see fuel and tires, improvement on our fuel and tire purchasing in a matter of weeks. We're already, same thing on equipment. If any of you, we've done this before, but any of you are in the market for buying a new truck, come talk to us. You won't buy it through us, but we can set you up to get the kind of discounts that we receive on some of our trucks, and we can help you there. But I think you're going to see a reduction in fuel and literally tires in a matter of weeks. And then we're just going to, I know because I was just over there talking to them yesterday, they're going to be working on, DEF and parts and everything down the chain from there. I'd expect to see a lot of that before the end of this year. So the big ones, equipment, fuel, tires, oil, you're going to see, if you're not already there, you're going to see it here very quickly, very quickly. And great question. Okay, well, I'll turn it over to Riley in a second to wrap it up. I just want to say thank you for everybody that's participating. This is really, as I said, to start all about our drivers out there. We're just trying to find a way to communicate with you more often, communicate with you more efficiently. This is our first one. I'm sure, hopefully it went well, but even if it went well, we're going to get better. We're going to film these here in Glendale. We're going to film them in Joplin and hopefully at other facilities around the country. And like I said, it's going to be every week at Fridays at 12:30 Central. I hope to be back soon, but thank you for everybody for participating. And Riley, thank you.
Thank you, John, so much for doing this with us. We're really excited, and this is really a great opportunity to reach out to our drivers and let them know that we care. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Good job.